on stage.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Something was stuck on my teeth. I can't see myself. How do we do this? I can't see anyone.
You got to go to the tab.
The other tab. It's very important to know what tab you're in at any point in your life. Tabs are very important. All right. So we've got 3 people. That's us. There's no one else. Oh, no, 10 people. Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry, we do have some clients. We've got 4 minutes to go. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. I'm joined here with the team, Eddie and Jesse and Jaden. We will do a proper intro in a minute, but I'm just keeping us at the moment entertained a little bit until everybody jumps on. I don't want to go into any sort of details or anything until we've got the full crowd, which is in 4 minutes' time. So what's the weather like in Sydney today? It's 27 max and sun is out. It's a pretty good day.
Yeah, not too bad.
Sort of nice light summer day. Very good. Very good. And the weather around the country, I'm sure it's not too bad, no matter where you are.
I guess while we're waiting for everybody to hop on, we've got a poll. So which movie genre do you prefer? So that's action, romantic comedy, science fiction, or documentary.
Very interesting. That's really tough choices because I like all of them.
Same. I think probably my preference is documentaries right now. Yeah, really enjoying them. Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I have been watching tons of them recently. Yeah.
Sucker for a good action.
Yeah, action's good.
Okay. I'm going to go documentary as well. Oh, I can't vote? That's discrimination. What the hell? Everybody else can except me. All right. That's fine. Morning, everyone. If you've just joined, we're just trying to keep you entertained until everybody jumps on before we start to talk about any details about the webinar. Hope you're having a nice day and thank you for taking the time to jump on. We will be talking today, as you know, about onboarding and in particular, what I call is where the rubber meets the road, which is that contract, which is, you want it to be auto-generated, and that means all the variables, whether it's, simple contact details about the candidate, to anything a lot more complicated, such as the final pay information, whether it's hourly rate or salary, etc., for all that to be automated and brought in without any copy and paste, and therefore wasting time and introducing risk of inaccuracies. And so that's what we will be talking about. Got a couple of minutes to go. And yeah, thank you again for taking the time and jumping on, guys. If you've just joined us, we're expecting about 60 people to be on. It's about over 100, I think, registered, but we always get about 30 to 40% drop off for some reason. People get busy and just the last minute and they change their mind. So this is really good. 50, 60 people is amazing number of users to be on the webinar. Looking forward to it. So as I said before, I'm joined today with 4 of us in the studio, the Martial Logic webinar studio. I've got the amazing Jesse and Jaden, your account managers, and Eddie, the marketing guru, who has been setting all this up. He's awesome. Without him, this would not happen. So thank you, team, and thank you, clients, for jumping on. We really appreciate your time. Alrighty, it is 11 o'clock on the dot, so we can get started, at least to start with the agenda and what we're doing. So as you can see, guys, you've got the presentation on the screen. You should be able to see it. Please let us know if you're having any technical issue at all. And I hope everybody can hear us and see the screen. So we will be covering the following points. make the remuneration and other variables pre-populate directly into your contract. It's slash job offer templates. It's really, whether it's a contract or a job offer, it's very generic. The platform doesn't really care. It's just a document as far as we're concerned, what we call dynamic document, or, merged document. And then, of course, the automations, how to automate. Are we talking about automations today? Sorry, hold on. How to automate your contract by inserting tags for each of your variables. It's the same kind of topic. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about automations. It doesn't look like we want to talk about automations. We'll see how we go with the time. We've had a request from a lot of clients. They want us to really focus on this part because it's fairly technical. But we'll see if we have time when we talk about automations. Okay, so do we have another slide, Eddie? All right, cool. So just quickly, now that we've got a lot of people jumped on, I'm joined today with the account managers, Jesse and Jaden, and I've got marketing, Eddie, as well in the room. We're having is the icebreaker, Eddie, now?
Yeah, we've already done.
Okay, that's on the right-hand side. If you've just joined, if you want to, pick one of those genres for movie genres, please do. And we have fun facts about the account managers. So one fact for each. Jaden, what's your fun fact?
My fun fact is I love music and I'm an avid record collector. And I finally got my record player set up on the weekend in my new place and very happy.
Awesome. And what's your proudest?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jess, go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, what's your favorite record?
Have to be the first one I purchased, which was the soundtrack to the Baby Driver album. It's a great album for a great movie.
Very good. And Jess?
Well, everybody knows that I'm Canadian. I believe so. But my fun fact is that I do not like poutine, which is our staple food.
I personally do know what poutine is, but apparently everybody should know that it's a very famous Canadian.
So it's
thing?
French fries, cheese curds, and gravy over top.
Okay.
Sounds like country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have that, but Jesse doesn't like it, which is good. That's a very good fun fact. Very good. Okay, so let's get started then, everyone. I'm going to switch now to. Am I sharing my screen, guys? Can you?
You have to go down to this.
Okay, I'm not sharing. Let's get started with that. Alrighty. So I'm going to start with the org chart, guys. I'm going to start a requisition and a job and finally get to the contract part and start to do the editing. So I'm going to go through this super quickly to get to the contract part, to the onboarding. I've got here in the org chart an org chart model based on hospitality business. And in here, we've got a restaurant manager, and I've got a position that reports to the restaurant manager. It's vacant for food and beverage attendant. And I'm going to start to recruit for it. I've only got one requisition form. I don't need to choose anything. It's already selected. I'll go next. Here's a requisition form. Very simple. Sorry, I just zoomed on it by accident. The location is not mandatory, although I'll pick something. And I'm going to go into the remuneration. It's all being configured based on an award that has been already configured, and basically we can choose from either of these levels when we get to the offer. So I really don't have to do anything. I'm just saying yes, it's all good. And I'm going to select now the start date, or the desirable start date, if you like. I'll just say in a week time, because we want them ASAP. And that's it. I'm going to send it to myself for approval. And the HR team as well, I'm going to send it to myself. I'll be the approver as well. So just one approver for now, because that's not really the topic that we're trying to learn about. We're not going to worry about this aspect of it. So I'm going to approve it very quickly. this is the second approver, confirmation for the approval. And now I'm going to find the job that would have been created. This is the job here, and it's all been approved. So now I can complete the approval. Choose a workflow first, sorry, and then complete the approval. And I'm not going to worry about posting or any of that. If I go to candidates now, I'm going to link an existing candidate that we can work with. Gosh. All right, we'll create one on the fly. So enter manually. I'm going to create Anwar test 001 and Anwar at logic.com. We're not going to need the email address for the candidate. It's all good. Alrighty. So if we now then sorry guys, we'll just, if I do linking now, here you go. Okay, so we have a candidate against the job. So now we're going to move this candidate to the onboarding, to the offer first. For the offer, we're going to just, the only thing we have to do is finalize which level. So I want to, I've selected that it'll be this level, which is based on this hourly rate, casual rate, salary, etc. If I want to override the FTE to pay above the awards, so for example, if I'm paying based on salary for this one permanent full-time, as you can see, it's 46,000. I can then say I want to override this and make it perhaps 55,000 or 60,000 to be more competitive for this role and save it. So the salary now is 60,000, the final salary that we selected. The start date, we also negotiated with the candidate, different start date. They needed a bit more time. They needed another week for notice. And so we changed the start date accordingly. There's a lot of features we can talk about in here, but we want to keep moving to get to the contract because that's the subject for the day. We submitted the approval. And so now we can go to the candidates again and move this person now to start the onboarding. We're going to pick this particular pack. And here we are. We've got a contract in here. I've kept that pack very simple. It doesn't have any other elements in it. Just has the contract because that's what we want to focus on. So that's not too bad. It only took about a few minutes, and now we are at the topic that we want to talk about. So in terms of how we recommend you would do any editing to the contract, we recommend that you do it from here. And I'll explain what I mean, as opposed to being in the admin and trying to do it from there. When you go into editing this contract, you've got this tab in here. And this is when you're able to add and remove different, what we call tags. So what we'll do one together and you'll know what I mean. So this contract happened to have some tags in it, but it doesn't matter. It could have been a brand new Word document that your lawyer just gave it to you. It doesn't have clearly anything to do with Martian logic yet. It makes no difference to what I'm doing right now. And you'll see what I mean. So with this one here, these are the current tags that this document has. So if we have a look at this document here, you can see, for example, it's got the name of the candidate. Remember, we just created that candidate here. It's got the date. It's got the start date. That's what we just picked in here. It's got hourly rate. So that's the wrong tag, which is good. That's what we'll do. We'll change this to be salary, and that will be part of the exercise that we will do together. So it's got a few tags in there. So what we're going to do, Is everything okay?
Just my tummy's making some noise.
It's all right.
Sorry.
It's all good. So we're in here now. What we're going to do, you're going to download the existing contract. So we click on this to download it. We're going to save it into a specific folder so we don't forget about it. How do we do that? How do I specify the folder? That's better. Okay, new folder called webinar 16th of November 2023. And we save it. And so if I then open it in my Word.
We're only viewing your web browser.
Okay, so I'm going to change the sharing, guys, to make sure I can share also Word. 1 second.
Poll question.
Okay, so just in the meantime, we have another poll. What is the average time it takes for you to onboard new hires?
Yeah, all good.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. So before I go any further, I just had an idea. Why don't we take some questions? I clearly covered a bunch of things. I know that this is the topic we want to focus on, but now that we're here, how about if I take some questions just to make sure people understand how I even got here and why I'm recommending you would do the editing from here as opposed to from the admin. Well, you're doing it from here. This is like a test. So you create a fictitious candidate based on your name and your email, and you pretend that you want to onboard them, and you get to this position here and you do the editing from here. It's a lot better because, as you will see in a minute, you'll be able to test anything, any change that you do, you're able to test it. Otherwise, you're making changes, but it's going to take you a bunch of clicks to be able to test it. And here, as you can see, it's instantaneous. We invested in this purely for that reason, for admin users like you guys who want to set up new contracts or just continue to do what we call continuous improvement on contracts and merge documents in general. This flow took a long time, more than 6 months to develop, is purely for that. So you will see in a minute. But any questions so far in terms of how we got here?
We do have one question from earlier in the process from Anne. It says, can the form be sent to multiple approvers with signing orders?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, Anne, are you new to the platform?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, welcome aboard. What company are you from? Organizations to be a company?
Erdi.
Sorry?
Erdi?
Okay.
Hotel group. Yes.
Excellent. Well, welcome aboard, and thank you for the question. You absolutely can. And are you working with the implementation team at the moment? Are you working with Lewis's team? Who do you have to support you with these things? And so I can make sure someone gets in touch with you if you don't have the.
So it was an invite that was sent to her director. So
Okay.
She's not a client yet.
Oh, not a client yet.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so the answer is 100%. You can. It's so flexible when it comes to the requisition in terms of what's on the form itself. Like that was what I did because it's not the main topic. I didn't want to bore you guys with focusing too much on requisition. It would be a little bit rude because people come to this webinar to talk about the contract editing. So I've made it very, very minimal, including the approval. On average, our clients would have between 3 to 5 approvers, and it's got very sophisticated settings on every approval point as well, in terms of what they can do or can't do. It's extremely flexible. So the answer is definitely yes. But I've simplified it for the purpose of this because it's not the topic for the webinar. Very good. Okay. Any other question?
Yeah, we have one from Naomi. How does the document template get uploaded? Is that a Word doc that Anwar uploaded? Apologies if I missed that step.
Yeah, very good point. Very, very good point. So what I did is I worked with an existing one. So why don't we go ahead and do that, and we'll come back to this. So we do have now a candidate who we started the process with. So I'll just show you in terms of how we're going to be able to get back to where we were. Because it's in draft now, this is we just have to go in here and start editing again. So let's answer now the question, where did that document come from? You're right. The first time to do that, you have to go to pack templates and create a pack and add a document to it. So why don't we do that together? I'm going to create a pack now called literally webinar 16th of November version 01. So this is a pack in here, and I'm going to add a bunch of elements from the content manager. So for example, if I've got a couple of videos, I'm going to add those 2 videos to it. It's like shopping from the content manager. Is there a form in here? I'm going to add a bunch of forms, maybe the TFN and Super Choice. I'm going to now add, if I go to static documents, we've got code of conduct. I'll add it as well. And now I'm going to go to the merge documents, which is the default tab, by the way, it's the top tab. These are existing contracts. Your question is, how do we add a new contract? We start from here, and I'll go upload, and you can pick up whichever document that you have. Doesn't matter. As I said, it could be something your lawyer just gave you. It's brand new. You just add it that way. And in here, when you add it, you say, we ask if you want, I mean, this can change later, but we ask if you want that to be signed internally by the company before you send it or not. And also if it's going to require signing by the candidate as well. So that's digital signing by the candidate, it's internal approval. So I've selected both. And here it is. Now I can drag it, for example, to be positioned wherever I want in the pack. I'll make it number 1. Although this is the CEO welcome aboard, so maybe it should be second. Okay, so that's how I've built a pack, and I built an initial contract. This contract doesn't have any tags, so it's still static in the sense it's as it is. and what we'll do, to your point, we're going to go and work with this pack now and show you how it works. Okay, so we will change what we how we started, and to do that, I'll go back to the recent onboards, and with this pack now, okay, what I'll do, we may as well stick to the same pack. Sorry guys, because it might take a few minutes to do that. You know what? No, it doesn't. I'll go back to the job, and I'll go back to the candidate. That pack that's in draft right now, I'll excuse me, I'll remove it, and I'll start a new pack from here, and I'll pick the pack that we just created, the version 01, which is this, and it's got a bunch of items, and that particular contract there. We'll start to do the editing from here. That's really all it takes. Okay, and so now let's talk about how you do the editing. So this, as I said, could be brand new. It doesn't have any tags. It really doesn't matter whether it's got 0 tags, you just got it, or you've been working on it and you're making different changes. It really doesn't matter, because all you're doing is adding and removing tags. So whether it's 0 or 100, the number of tags in the document makes no difference. Yeah. So then what we'll do, we'll jump back to this. This is designed for admin people. This is the tab that I would like you to be working from, okay, to do all this editing, the fine-tuning editing of your merge document. And so what we do, we download it as we discussed before. We'll download it one more time. It should remember the folder. Perfect. It's going to save it in that folder. And we open that folder, which is downloaded. Here it is. And let's have a look. So we're going to change the remuneration. It says here your hourly rate. So this is, I'm going to make it here your salary. I mean, this is really not a very good legal language here. I'm just being very brute about, because I'm just worried about the mechanism of how to insert tags and stuff. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm just going to put a line break in here just to see what I'm doing. Okay. is, and I'm going to put in here the tag per year. Okay, cool. So this is the tag that I need to insert here. So I'll go back to this page where I've downloaded the contract from, which is the doc template. We're still on that tab. These are all the tags available for me from here. So the categories are the different types of tags. So if I go to my requisitions, this is the requisition that we just used, I believe here, the requisition form. And I go to the engagement field. If I click on the this little icon here called copy merge fields. So if I click on it, it tells me which particular part of the engagement that you need. So we need the final salary. I want it to be in 2 decimal places. I click on that, it copies it into the buffer. I just simply now have to go back to my Word document and paste it, and that's it. So let's test it. Let's see what happens. So what we'll do, we'll save it. I'll make sure the name is unique so we're not confused which one is the latest version of this document. Save as. I'll put in here version 3 instead of 2. And then I'll go back to the top here and click on this to upload it. I'm sorry. Update, sorry. And go there and version 3 and save. And that's it. So now if we have a look, the salary should have been updated. I'll just go full screen and zoom on it a little bit for you guys to see it. Here you go. Your salary is $60,000 per year. It's a very simple example, but it's an important example because it's dealing with salary. And as you can see, what was really achieved, although, as I said, it's a simple example and the way I've structured it is not very intelligent because it could have been generic. You could be making it work for either, whether it's a permanent full-time, permanent part-time, or casual. In theory, you can have one document that is intelligent enough to make it work for either of these types, or you might have one document for the ongoing, meaning part-time, permanent part-time, permanent full-time, and maybe one for the casuals and maybe one for the contractors. So that's typically about 3 contracts outlines end up having. If you have more, I'm not really criticizing, but in my humble opinion, there's a room to consolidate, especially because we made a lot of smarts now. We have a lot of features that we implemented over the last couple of years should help you to consolidate. But I'm not criticizing whether you have 10 or 12. That's perfectly fine. That's your business. So in saying that, although this is very simple what I achieved, but it's actually not that simple because think about it. We started with a requisition that was saying we're hiring a food and beverage attendant that could be starting at either of these levels depending on the experience. Then we went to the market, we talked to a lot of candidates, and during the offer, either the manager or the HR team finalizing the offer because they've been speaking with the person, negotiated what level they're going to be on, they've decided which level, and then they were able to even override that because they wanted to be competitive and make sure that person is going to accept the offer. They negotiated that with them. They made it 60K, and then this information now is going to flow automatically into the contract. All I had to do now, because of what I did, is select the pack, and when I look at the contract, it's going to have the salary in it. I mean, this is really a lot, although what I did is very simple. Just wanted to understand really what that is when you're using it properly with the requisition, the offer, and the onboarding properly. This flow is really, really special. And the reason this is powerful, although it's a small example, because what this is now telling you is every single field, every single piece of data you've collected, whether from the requisition or during the recruitment, meaning when the candidate applied. So for example, the candidate name and last name, which is already here, and we'll have a look at it. This is coming from when they applied. So information that comes from the approved requisition, then an information stream comes from the candidate, and through the recruitment, all the information that's been changing by either the candidate or the recruitment team, and then eventually during the offer, and we come to the onboarding, any of this information, you can grab it as a tag and place it in your contract to automate it. I mean, this is super, super powerful. We've been, the onboarding has been around for about 6-7 years now, module, And by now, I don't think there's any requirement from a client that we haven't been able to meet in terms of how flexible it is, because of what I said, in terms of how you can customize any of your, whether it's the application form in terms of the information you want to collect from the compliance point of view, etc. Any information you collect subsequently through the recruitment process, post-application, and as I mentioned before, the requisition, and finally the offer, and then you'll be able to bring all that data automatically into the contract. So how about if we take questions, and then I'll do a couple more. So I'll have a look where that information comes from. I'll delete the tags and do it together, which is the candidate information. We'll do a few tags together, but let's take some questions, which is similar to the previous question, which is really I liked in terms of how did we get here? Because I need you guys post this to be able to do it yourself. You need to be able to redo what I did. So any questions about how we ended up here, so to speak, and all this, please, by any means.
Yeah, we do have a question here from Giossi. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. I apologize. I have a series of contract templates from Catholic Education, which I will need to load into PACS. Does the document I load need to have the merge fields set up in a particular way so that they are identified as tags?
No. So what you do, very, very good point. Okay, so let's go back to my document here. And why don't we do, as I mentioned, another one together. So contract will commence on the effective date here. Okay, I'm going to remove this. So your contract came from the lawyer, and it will have something like that. They will put in here something like this and highlight it in yellow, I'm assuming, or they would have in here, start date, something like that, but also it'll be in yellow. So you remember that you need to change that to be dynamic. Every time you're doing this, you need to replace it, right? That's how you get it from the lawyer. So assuming this is brand new, so all you have to do is, first of all, I'll just remove the color, and then need to highlight. Yep, and then I will go and grab the tag, which is here, which was the start/effective date. I'll click on this. Sorry. Start/effective date, and then it gives me the options for the start date. It gives me the option. The reason we say start/effective date is it is an effective date anyway, but it's more so when you're doing change of condition or offboarding. We call it effective date is when that change takes place, but nevertheless it's the same field. That's why we're saying to you, because we use it for both onboarding new employee and when you're making changes to existing employee. That's hence the name. Nevertheless, this is the field here. We give you options what format that you want. So you go, I want that format, you click on it. We copy the full tag in the buffer. All you have to do, go back there, and where were we? Is that the wrong document? I think the wrong one. That's the one we're working with, right? Let me just open it again. I want to make sure I'm working with the right one. Version 3 there. Yeah. Okay, we'll stick to version 3, and I'll do this again. I edited before the wrong one, so I'll do it again. So as I mentioned, this would have come from your lawyer just like that, highlighted in yellow. We remove the color, we remove this, and we want a space after the, and I'll go Control V. Command V. That's the tag. You don't need to worry about the structure of the tag. We put it in the buffer for you, just have to paste it. As you can see, it's got these special characters. It starts with this, it ends with this, but you don't need to worry about that at all. Yeah. And so just so we know this is the one here, I'll put in here start date version 003, just to make sure this is the right one. You have confidence that this is what we just did together. So I'll save it as version 4 as well. You don't have to, but also to make it distinct so we're not confused. So this is the one we can upload now. All I had to do is click on this. I'm just redoing, going over it one more time. Click on this. With the tooltip says copy Word merge fields to clipboard. So all I had to do is click on it, because there's multiple options, I had to select which one. Is it the start date or the end date, etc. Because it might be a contract and it's got a start date and end date. Then I go, I want, which format do you want? Okay, I'll pick up this format, and it puts it for me in the buffer. And I went back to the contract and I did Control V. That's all I did. So now that we're ready, we'll go back, click on update, and select that version 4 and save, and it'll upload the document, refresh the PDF for us, and you can see it's all ready to go. So let's have a look, make sure it worked. Start date, here you go. So put in here the exact format, 30th of November 2023, start date, which is what I typed in here, just so you guys know this is the right contract. That's all I had to do. Does that answer your point, or did I miss the question? Sorry, who was?
GOZ says,
Yeah?
that's
Okay, very good.
perfect. Yeah.
Very good.
Do you want the next
Excellent.
one? You go ahead.
Okay. We've got another one here from Anne. This may be covered later on, but if we have more than one candidate for the same role, can the system pre-fill the required fields for all candidates and bulk send it?
Yeah, bulk send is a feature, very, very important feature we've been, refining for over years. So what we're working with right now, we call it the pack technology that we have, and it's got this, as you can see, and this tab in the main menu. There's a menu specific for the packs, and the bulk sending is a very, very important feature. I don't know what the specifics are that you want to do, but most certainly that you can do that, and it comes with so many. It's a little ecosystem for you to be able to manage those bulk sends and where are they at and all that. And there's automations to make sure people, are reminded 2 days before and a day before and whatever else. It's a whole ecosystem to make sure the bulk send really works. But in terms of your existing requirements, the answer is yes. But also part of your question was you're onboarding multiple people against the same job. That's 100% business as usual for us as well. So 2 parts, I guess, to the question. Of course, you can onboard more than one person against the job, but also you can use the bulk send feature if appropriate for and if that's what you want to do. If there's that many volume to warrant doing that, that's what the bulk sending is about. We have schools in the US. What they do, they have a large number of their employees in the hundreds that are contracts on contracts basis, whether it's 2 years or 12 months or 3-year contracts. And so at the end of every year, they have to send pretty much a bulk pack to all those contractors to basically say, look, hopefully you're going to stay with us. You're going to renew the contract. Here's the contract ready to go and stuff like that. They send it to about 200, 300, 400 people, and they have the pack. They have a nice welcoming letter and thank them for what they did and blah, blah, blah for the last 12 months, etc. And here's the new contract. And if you have any questions, etc. And code of conduct as well, all pack ready to go. All they need to do is sign the contract, complete the pack, and send it. So the bulk send is a very, very important feature, and I'm 100% sure we can make it work for you. Okay, next question.
Yep. So we have one from Jane. What if you have contract templates in your content manager, but want to update or tweak the template before generating a contract? How do you do that?
Yeah, I 100% recommend that you still use that feature. I know exactly what you mean. Just bear with me, and you'll find we're talking about the same thing. I know exactly what you mean. So you can always do it by going to to your packs, going to the content manager, and these are all your documents, yeah. And you can download it, edit the tags and stuff. But what I recommend that you do it. So the quickest way to do it is you can go to, which is what I recommended. So you have a real job or a fictitious job, but you use your own test candidate. So you create a fake candidate, just like I did with Anwar Khalil version 0. Whatever 0001, because I've got so many of them around. You do that, and because you're able to view the data. Otherwise, for example, remuneration information from the rec, anything that you're automating, you need data in those fields. So you can of course remove a tag and end a tag, but how do you know it worked? How do you know the formatting is worked nicely? You might want to justify this whole paragraph or something like that, small things like that. That's why what I'm recommending is the best way to do it. Now, there's a very quick way to do it as well. If I go to recent packs, that's where all my packs are, and this is the one, by the way, that we are working on. And you can go start a new pack, pick the pack that has got that contract. In our case, it's this one here. Go next, and click on pick yourself for testing. That will create a fictitious user based on your own name, last name, and email. When I say user, I'm sorry, I meant a candidate, yeah? So we do all that work in the background for you, and you can start to do the editing from here. All right, let's start again, because that's, again, how did you get here, and which is a very good point. So if you want to do it, doing it against the job is the best because you have real data. You have requisition data, you have offer, you have everything to be able to test the data. However, if you don't want to do it that way, still you can just come to recent packs, click on start new pack, any pack that you want to test, that meaning that has got the right contract that you want to test, go next, and either pick yourself from here. If you know you have already a test candidate, you can just do auto completion from here, find it, or simply just click on this. We created that for the purpose of testing as well. So pick myself for testing. What it does, it looks for a candidate with your name, last name, and email. If it doesn't find one, it creates one for you on the fly. You can see here, it picked Anwar Test 29 June Khalil. That's one of those fictitious candidates created in the past. It picked it up because it knows my name, last name as a user, and my email. So that's how quick it is to get quickly to here and to here. And that's where you can download the existing contract, make the editing, upload it again, voila, see the results. Sorry,
Jane,
Jess.
just further to her question, she just said, in the content manager, can you override the merge document contract template? Yeah,
of course. You can, as I mentioned, or you can do it from here, because in here can I actually mention something? Maybe this is why the question is being asked. Okay, I'm just going to.
And she also just said, could Anwar please navigate and show us through the merge documents in the content manager?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So from here, just want to mention one thing, and I'm going to jump back to the content manager. Sorry, Jan, was it?
Jane, yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, Jane. Just bear with me for 2 secs. I'll jump to that in a sec, to the content manager. Just on this one here, when I click on update, and I want to say upload the latest. I'm not sure if I showed you this. So when you click on save in here, there's save as new and there's save. This actually overrides it by default, unless you choose this option here, save as new. It does override the content manager one. So this is what you have in the content manager, and this is going to override it. So this is doing the same thing that you want, by the way. Nevertheless, I'm definitely going to show you also how you can do it from there. So when you go to the content manager, any of these, let's pick the one that we just did. What did we call it?
Jane says that was the missing piece.
Sorry?
Jane just said that was the missing piece.
Oh, I knew that was what it is. I should have mentioned it. Yeah. And so you can definitely do it from here, download it and then upload it again. It's all there for you. That's the content manager. By the way, these are the different tabs. We break up your content manager, the content based on the type, videos, images, forms, etc. Merge documents is the default, just in case you didn't know where we were. So that's all my merged documents. You can certainly upload a new one from scratch, go to any of them, download it, edit it, and upload it again to do it from here. It's just a bit cold, I find it here, because it's not friendly enough for you to really see the effects of what you just did. Mm-hmm. And that's why I recommend doing it from there. And it's got the same outcome. You're overriding the existing one.
We had a question from Kerry. Hi, Anwar. When you change the contract here, are the changes only for the candidate, so the original template remains the same?
That's what we just covered. So let's go over this again. It's a very important point. Thanks to Jane that made us aware of that missing piece in how I was explaining things. So I've just gone back to my recent packs, and that's the pack that we were working on, or one of them anyway. You can see created a few of them today. We'll go into this pack, and as I was saying, I'll recommend that you do the changes from here. And the question was, when I'm overriding, when I'm uploading this document, is it doing it just for that candidate? Absolutely not for this candidate. Otherwise, I wouldn't, thank you for the question. I'm really not being impatient with the question. I just want to make sure I'm giving it the respect it deserves. So it would be so wrong of me if I'm training you guys on how to fine tune your contracts and I'm showing you how you would do it only for a candidate at a time. And that's the missing piece, as I said, that Jane helped us to be aware of. Okay, so now I've uploaded the changes, or the final version of the contract that I've fine-tuned, whether I've fixed up the format or whether I've added a new tag or replaced the tag, any changes, What we talked about before, when you upload it and you click save, there's a little option in here that save as new. So maybe we should explain it better. But nevertheless, you are 100% overriding it in the content manager, meaning any person that you will go to onboard after this, once you've saved, will pick up the latest changes. So this will create a new document in your content manager. This will override the one in the content manager. Yeah? So this is why I'm using the word, for example. I'm sorry, who was the person now asking the question?
So that one came from Kerry.
Kerry. Yeah. So Kerry, that's why, I'm using the word, for example, fine tuning. I wouldn't be saying you're fine tuning your contracts if it was just you're doing it for that particular candidate. So you are doing it for the candidate. If that was a real candidate, yes, you'd be doing it for that candidate, meaning on the fly. As you're onboarding someone, you want to do continuous improvements, you want to fix up a little format or do some changes, you'd be doing it for that person, but also for everybody after, because you're overriding also the contract in the content manager, which any pack that is linked to it will be automatically taking these changes, because it's a single source of truth. When you add in a contract to a pack, because the same contract maybe is used in multiple packs, right? It's only a link, meaning when you update that contract, it's going to take effect in those packs, which is quite powerful.
Mm-hmm. And we just have one from Jackie. It says, I get a few issues with the spacing when adding a contact block field.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Let's have a look at what content block, which is a really good point. Thank you for reminding us. I'm going to go back to the editing here. This is a content block, guys. Are you familiar with a content block? So this is a basic one that I've put together to explain what a content block is, meaning it's like a paragraph. I mean, it could be a whole page if you really want it to be. We don't have a limit on it pretty much, but, in theory, it's a sort of a paragraph, what you would use it. And it sort of comes as multiple options, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want, and you choose the option. So for example, probation period, 1 or 2 different options, and then it loads the entire paragraph. And that paragraph in itself can have tags, and it can be dynamic as well, which makes the whole concept really, really powerful. And I'll show you how you create them and how you can also fine tune them on the go. So the question was, please correct me, the formatting here within the content block, sometimes you're having issues with it? Spacing.
Yeah.
When you say spacing, do you mind maybe elaborating a little bit?
Okay, so she says extra spacing between the paragraphs.
Okay, so within the content block, if you have multiple paragraphs,
yeah.
So this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2. All right, let's have a look. Maybe I can show it here. So we're doing some changes here on the fly for this particular person. If I refresh the document, let's have a look. What are we looking for? Here it is, happened to be right there. Probation period, contact position. I don't know. It seems to be okay, but of course, I'm not undermining your point. I'm sure there's something there. Have you spoken with support or with implementation guys? Who do you have available for you? Sorry, who's the question from?
Jackie. Actually, Jackie, if you would like to just email me straight after this, I can put you in touch with our support team.
100%.
Yeah.
We will work with you through it. Whatever it is, we will make sure there's a solution for it.
Perfect.
But, thank you, Jackie, for basically reminding me to talk to the guys about this. Speaking of contracts and stuff, it's a very, very powerful tool. So I'm going to start from fresh about what a content block is and what you can do with it and how you can create them. How do we do this? I want to create one together. So we close this.
And just a reminder, we have about 15 minutes left. 15 minutes?
Yeah. Okay. Guys, do you want me to, I'll give you the choices. Do you want me to talk about the content block in more details, which is more than appropriate? It's not, or the automations or both. I mean, 15 minutes, maybe we can spend 5 minutes on each or something, but the automations are really important. I'll just explain what that is. The automations are for the pack that you create. You're able to.
Everybody's saying automation.
Yeah.
Automations? Okay. And in terms of content block, by any means, whether you're still in the implementation phase or you're a client already, reach out to the support or your implementation person and they can work with you with the content blocks. If you feel the content block is an interesting tool, I'm not using it at the moment, I feel it's going to help me to consolidate or make my contract smarter or something, by any means, will help you one-on-one.
Yeah.
Okay? So, automations. Why don't we jump to the pack templates, just so you know that, okay, the pack templates are a very, very powerful thing. They look like, just a bucket of items, but I mean, it's very powerful. And what I mean by that, it's actually a template. So when you go into any of them, they look very harmless, kind of just a bucket of bunch of items in them, but they're very powerful because not only you're deciding as a template, meaning, reproducible thing, it's a template. That means when you're onboarding a person based on that template, they will inherit everything from that template. And what I mean by everything, not only the items, but also things like the expiry date on this pack. I want it to be, I only want to give people 3 days to complete it. Yeah. That will be inherited. Also the design, the branding. When you change that background, that beautiful background image through this mechanism here, I'll go in it maybe in a sec, but I just want to stay at high level now in terms of what's been inherited. The design gets inherited as well. The invite messaging, so this initial default message that's at the bottom of the email that the recipient gets also gets inherited, as well as the automations. So, for example, for my casual guys, I don't know, maybe that's the wrong one from the automations point of view. Okay, so let's talk about what the automations are, and then maybe we can find the right example. So, all of that gets inherited, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because when I want to work on the automations, I've come back to the template. See, this one here shows you that little spanner thing here, shows you that you're in the admin. You're an admin person, you're doing fine tuning on one of your templates, the pack template. So if I go back to the edit, this is your pack, but you're in the template and you're fine tuning all aspects of this template. What items, the expiry information, the design, the branding, the message, the communication messages, as well as any automations, meaning reminders to the different stakeholders as well as the candidate before the pack is completed, post the pack completed, etc. And that's what we're going to now dig into and create something together. But just so you understand this, how powerful the pack template is. When you go to onboard another person and we create a pack for you based on the template, it's going to inherit all of that, not just which item we're sending. Yeah, is that clear, guys? Awesome. So that's why I've come back to the template itself, and I want to set up the automations here. So the automations are, a concept is based on what we call a stakeholder group. So as you can see here already, I've got the manager, and we know who the manager is because based on, your requisition, etc., and in the job, we know who the manager is. So we automatically, you can then set up automations about that. So let's go ahead and set up an automation against the manager. We click on automations. We want to add a new automation. We want to do an SMS. So we will say we want it to be when the pack is completed. I want to do it to be triggered, and I want it to be an SMS, and I want it to be that first one. I want it to be 7 days or even 15, 2 weeks before the start date. I want to remind the manager to get in touch with the candidate. And by the way, if the notice period was only a week, this doesn't get triggered, just gets ignored. We're very, very intelligent. We know what's going on there. So don't send the pack if completed. You tick that, and it's going to just be, you don't need to worry about it. Whether the notice period is 30 days or whether it's 2 days, all these reminders, we will know which one is applicable and we send it. So you don't need to worry about that. So I'm going to do 2, 15 days and 7 days prior to the start date. And I'm going to type the message here. Sender's mobile number, you just ignore that because that's, what does that mean, sender's? That's the manager's or the generic mobile number, the company's generic mobile number or the manager's. Is it because, I'll just put the generic one. And the message is going to be hi, and I will pick a tag from here, which is the recipient first name. And that will be, in this case, the manager's name. So I'll just very generic one that says recipient's first name I'm looking for. Recipient's first name. So that would be the manager's first name. Just a reminder that the candidate name we want now, applicant's first name, and I'll do even the full name as a matter of fact for the applicant because they might have a lot of applicants. They forgot which one is which. I'll just put the applicant's full name instead of just first name. So John Smith will be starting on, and I'll put in here the start date. The start date, start effective date, that's the one we're using. And I'll put here, you might want to give them a call on, and I'll put the phone number to make it super convenient for the for them as well. I'm sure we can pick the candidate's phone number here somewhere. If not here, it would be in the other area.
Just under last name.
Yeah. Applicant's mobile, perfect. And thank you very much and good luck with it. So we've set up this template for the managers, the manager. It's dynamic. It knows for that particular requisition who the manager is, etc. And it's going to send in the SMS 15 days prior. If there's no 15 days, the notice period is 7 days, etc., it doesn't get invoked. And I'll do another one for 7 days. I don't have to set it up properly. I'll be very quick with this one, but just so you get the point that you can do more than one. So also pack completed, only when the pack completed, it gets triggered, and it's going to be triggered 7 days prior to the before the start date. And don't send it completed. And I'm going to put something in here, and the mobile 410512021, and save it. So now I've got 2 automations, all against that same you can see there's 2 now against this particular stakeholder group. So let's say you've got now the IT folks. I don't have one for IT. I've got one for provisioning. I'll create now one for IT, create a brand new from scratch. I'm going to call it IT or, provisioning. That is the provisioning. Sorry. What was the other one? Oh, it's provisioning and what did I have in mind? The folks that have to buy maybe compute things such as uniforms and stuff like that. Nevertheless, I'll create one called IT, which is similar to provisioning, just for the purpose of doing this together. Just hit enter. And now I go, who are the members? I put in here the email address for the IT. Maybe it's IT@ or the individual names. It's entirely up to you. There's no IT@. I'll create it here on the fly for convenience. IT@ ml.com and email. Oh, sorry, that was the name. IT@ml.com. Just it's what is it? What is it missing? Sorry, IT@ml.com. Yeah, I don't know what I typed before. Okay, so we've got one. I can add another one on the fly, which is James, who's the IT person as well, just in case. James Kilos and James Kilos at ml.com. Because we don't have these users already in the platform, we just create them on the fly. Otherwise, you select them from here. All the users are there. Okay, so now we have two set up against this particular group. I can close it now. And here's the IT, and there's the members in there. I'll just go back in there. I'm sorry. They're right there, IT and James as the members. And I can now go and set up the automations. So this could be as soon as the pack is completed, for example, or as soon as it's sent. It's really up to you. As soon as the pack is completed, we want to send an email to the IT folks, and we don't want any delay. So we leave that as the same, and we go next. And in here already we suggest a subject for the email. It says John Smith, as you can see, candidate name, last name is starting on a date of blah for the position of blah. That's already there for you. So what we'll say in here, hi, I'll just paste that from the subject, which is, sorry, I'll put recipient name, recipient's first name, there. Okay, comma, and that's the line in there. So what's interesting here, in the requisition, typically you would have a list of items as a multi-select drop-downs list of items that the hiring manager deems that this person is going to need when they start, such as a excuse me, a laptop, a phone, a car, uniforms, etc., whatever they need. And this is how you're able to, all that data flows to here, and you're able now to direct it. So you can find that tag, that field, and include it in here. And it tells them exactly what was selected, what was finalized during the offer as well. Yes, they're going to need this item, this item, this item, all that been approved. So the IT person knows automatically what they need, what this person need. They start to work on that provisioning for them. They need access to that system, You can have two separate ones, one for software and one for hardware, meaning physical things. So provisioning to systems, you can have a separate field for that. And by the way, we're working on something really smart to do a lot better than that for those two things, which is the, whether you want to call them entitlements or provisioning things and stuff. We're working on providing a proper library. So no one can just add whatever they want in there. It needs to come from an approved library. For example, we don't offer, Microsoft laptops. We only offer MacBooks and stuff, or whatever that, you decide what are those items, and then the managers can pick only from there, and they get approved, and then finally, therefore, the IT automatically know what they need to find and stuff. We're working on improving that, making it even smarter, although you can do it right now already. So does that now make sense in terms of what you can do with this? You can do multiple automations to the same group, and each automation can be either an SMS or an email, and you can put delays on it before that, what the target is based on start date and send and etc. Very, very intelligent. And when it's actually sent, if I'll show you, I don't know if I've got any, if I go into anything that's already been sent as opposed to the template, we recently added under the automations, because that hasn't been sent. Let me see if I've got something. Maybe this. You'll find maybe these are old. You'll find there's a sub tab in here it's called history. You guys, anybody has seen it? Can someone confirm? We created a sub tab under the automations for the real packs that have been sent. It's got history to show you really where those automations are at. Mm-hmm. So you know what was triggered and what's not, instead of being okay, I've got these automations. Oh, have they been actually, where are they at? Mm-hmm. Did they get triggered, etc.? We added this feature about, I would say, 6 weeks ago. That helps you to really be confident to know where things are at with the automations. Mm-hmm. Guys, can anybody confirm you've seen it? Just this account of mine is very old. I haven't used it for a while. I use it only for the webinars, and I haven't actually done a webinar for about 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So can someone confirm that you've seen it, the history under the automations? Subtab called history. Check it out, guys. Look at any of the onboards that you've sent in the last couple of months, and they are actually have been completed or still in progress. And if you go to automations, there should be a sub-tab called history.
Yeah. We got a yes as well.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So the automation is really a big thing, guys. We cannot really cover it in 10, 15 minutes. Maybe we should do a whole webinar just about the automations.
There's a lot of interest in that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nevertheless, guys, from our point of view, at least from my point of view, I'm not sure about the account managers if they have something after this, but I'm very flexible. I can even stay on for another 15, 20 minutes. If you have any questions about anything whatsoever with the platform, I'm more than happy to answer it, including we're getting a lot of questions about the police check. We did a webinar last week. I wasn't on the webinar personally. The amazing Janine and Jesse and Jaden and everybody was on it. And there were some questions from that and follow-up questions. I'm happy to answer any questions about that service as well that we're provisioning very, very soon in the next couple of weeks.
We do have a question from Anne. Once the pack has been sent and the candidate has signed off on the paperwork, how does the sender receive/access the signed documents?
Oh, and Anne is another client. Yeah. I can see your question. Very, very good question. I'm so sorry. The reason I've reacted like that, Anne, because if you were a user, you'll know what I mean. It's actually very obvious, but I 100% respect the question. It's a very important question. Okay. So a few things. First of all, you get an email notification. And as a matter of fact, the automations that we talked about, if our default notification not enough, you want to let, for example, the manager know yourself with SMS and email and whoever that you want, you can use the automations to do it against the packs. So you can choose that once the pack is completed, automatically send an email, an SMS, wherever. You can do all of that. But also you've got a full dashboard. Recent under the packs means for all your packs, and you can filter on the packs. I only want to look at the completed ones or the ones in draft, etc. It's very powerful filtering capabilities. But if I go back to all packs, that will show you every single pack, whether it's in draft, as you can see, this is draft, whether it's ready to send or whether it's completed. It tells you when it was completed 5 months ago, etc. And you can go into it. This is completed. You can see what's completed here. And you can, if you want to download the entire pack, you can download it as a zip file and send it to people if you want. But the automation should take care of that as well. You can do an automation, for example, to payroll, although we do have integration with different payroll systems. And again, because you're not a client yet, in case you didn't know. But if that was what you want to send the full pack information to the payroll folks, you can also automate that. automated in a sense to, as soon as the pack is completed, they get an email, there's a link in it, they can download the entire pack. There's many ways of doing this. Also, against the candidate, so if I take instead of going into the pack from here, I'm going to click on the candidate, takes us into the candidate record, which became an employee now because they completed the pack. That's where all the information here. There's a tab dedicated to the packs. Everything they've completed is here. Although this is completed, you can still go into it, but clearly you can't edit anything now. It's just a view only. You can view every single item. This is what happened to be a video and a form. The form happened to have a video question on it and a couple of compliance fields, which is pertaining to driving license, shows you an image of the driving license that they uploaded, and also it shows you the expiry date and issue date for this. So this pack happened to be, didn't have a contract in it. It had a form and it had a thing. So if we go into, does that answer your question, Anne? So the candidate record and the employee record has got a tab pertaining to the packs. You can go into them. They'll be view only if they've been sent, if you don't have the right permission, etc. It really is, it's everywhere. It's baked within the system.
Yeah. She also says payroll was my next question. Perfect. Thanks for that.
Excellent.
We also have another one here from Amanda. So what if someone replies to the SMS? Does it come through to our notifications?
Oh, okay. Replying to the SMSs. I think the way we're, so with the SMS, if I go into a candidate here, let's say you want to send an SMS, there's two ways to send an SMS. There's the one way, and that would be coming from the phone number that you would be against the user there. And so if they reply, it comes back to that phone, or you can choose the two-way SMS. The two-way SMS, ignore this because of this account run out of credits for the SMS, asking me to buy more. If it's two-way SMS, then it comes back into the system. So that's just how I do it. However, from the packs, I believe it's only the one way. So whatever phone number you have in there, whether it's a generic phone number for the company or the HR phone number to speak, or your own phone number as in mobile number, it will come back to it. I believe it's only one way, done as one way. Why don't we do the two options? I'm not really sure, but we can if that's something we need to do going forward. And what I mean, it would come up in here, the two-way SMS I was talking about. If it's two-way, it come up under the timeline. The timeline holds all kind of communications, whether it's a comment or whether it's an SMS or an email, or the fact that you moved that person from this stage to that stage, you progressed them or you stopped them. It's all, every single touch goes as a piece in the timeline to indicate that this is something happened to this record.
Cool. All right, we got one from Christy. If you select trigger when pack completed and then select don't send if pack completed, will that mean nothing will be sent? Should we leave the do not send box unticked in that instance? You know,
you're right. When I was looking at it, I got I went a bit like a deer in the headlight. Let's go back into it and just see if we can. I'm sure we're doing what makes sense there, but I probably didn't explain it properly. Okay, let's go back to it. So I want to do more automations. And the question is, let's say we're doing a pack completed. So is that right, the scenario? Take me through it again.
If you trigger when pack completed, yep, and then select don't send if pack completed, will that mean nothing will be sent?
No. What that meant is, so for example, if I do here, if I do, say 3 days, I want to do a reminder, or even 1 day, it makes the question, the scenario better, before the pack expiry date. Yes. So I want to give them a reminder to make sure they finish it before the expiry date. Yeah. Let's say we've set it up to be 3 days, the expiry date. So I want to make sure they do it. So I do reminders 2 days before and then 1 day before. But how about if that person, completes it straight away on day one? What that means, we don't send it. So when you tick this, that means it's no need to remind them a day before. They've already completed it. That's really what it meant, what this feature is for. I hope that makes sense. Do we have confirmation that?
We'll wait for one to come through.
Did I cover the point, guys, or is there still any confusion about this?
It doesn't trigger unless the pack is completed, though.
Yes, absolutely. So the pack completed is the basis of all this. That's why it's done right at the top. None of that you're doing after here then matters. The pack has to be completed for any of that to happen, yeah? So now that we're talking about the pack is completed, and then there's a trigger that we're setting here that says, look, remind this person before the expiry date. I'm so sorry. Hold on. This would be more of if you're doing, I mean, it doesn't matter. This is going to be still okay. But if you're doing reminders, it's going to be more of a pack sent. If we are doing that scenario of, look, we want to remind that person to make sure they don't miss the expiry date.
Yeah.
So let's say we give them 3-4 days. We do 2 reminders.
Yeah.
2 days before and 1 day before, yeah?
Yeah.
And what we're saying here is, oh, don't do it if the pack's completed. So you were right. Now I can see what you mean. That didn't make sense. I don't think there's going to be any risky, nothing stupid is going to happen, as in it's not going to make you look silly but it doesn't make sense. So it's not something that you want to do. It's not going to be useful for you.
Makes more sense to do it.
Yeah, sorry. So look, you were right all along. I apologize. That makes perfect sense now. Thank you for bringing it up.
Oh, when documents require digital signing, can you have a content box pop up before they sign? For example, the content box may say, in signing this contract, you agree to the terms and conditions as outlined.
Yeah, I think we already have something like that. I think we can set it up for you. We did it. It's sort of customizable. We set it up somehow for you. Who do you deal with? Who's your account manager? Any of these two amazing individuals here? Or
Mary, you're with me. So definitely, if you want to reach out to me, we can set a meeting to go through
that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Don't know if you're going to cover this on this webinar, but we had one from Emily, potentially, sorry. I am new to the platform and I'm sure why or the importance of talent groups and also interested in police checks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the police check will be coming up in a couple of weeks. It was all ready to go, and then we realized that for non-Australian passports was a requirement by the government, by the federal agency that runs the police check, which is ACIC, ACIC. Was part of the compliance is it's not enough if we confirm that this person has a valid visa. We have to see the visa. We have to store the visa. So we are now building a relationship with Vivo, another department, completely different federal agency from ACIC, for us to have access to their service under the hood that allows us to, based on the passport number, to get the actual visa and be able to store it to make sure we adhere to the compliance. So that set us back by a couple of weeks because it takes, you build a relationship with them, signing contracts as legals, etc., with that federal agency before we can start to use the service. And then the tech is actually pretty straightforward, but it's more of that building a relationship. So to be safe, I'm going to say 4 weeks and we will be ready to go. However, if you're really interested in using it, definitely get in touch right now with the account manager because we have to get you approved. Believe it or not, every client of ours that want to use the service has to be approved by ACIC as a legal entity, something, LEC, legal entity client or something. They have to, it takes about 5 days to approve you that first time, and that's it. You start to be able to then use it clearly, seamlessly and automatically. So get in touch and get all that sorted. But yeah, the live time would be about 4 weeks from now at the latest.
Yeah. Potentially for the talent groups, should we just get Emily to reach out to the account manager? We can
Oh,
run through?
absolutely. I mean, we've got a couple of minutes now. I mean, we've gone over time anyway, as it is. I can just show you it quickly, but certainly reach out. Clearly, we're not going to be able to solve all your problems right now. I'm just going to give you a couple of tips to maybe you can start to have a play yourself as well. So when you're, we've got something here called talent communities, right? So you can add the talent communities from here and decide on them. But really, probably the best way to do it, we've invested a lot of time in the talent community, and you'll see what I mean by that. So if I'm in here and I'm recruiting, maybe I should do it from within the context of the job. It's better. So I'll go back to the same job, that same candidate, and say this is the early days. They've just applied. I've looked at the resume, the cover letter, screen questions, etc. And I go, this is really, and you speak with them. Let's say you sent them the SMS and they called you back, and then you go, this person is really amazing for our business, but not for this role. I want to tag them with a proper talent community and move on. And so then we make it super available for you from here. You click on add to talent community and just auto completion. So if I want to do, I can see now soft skills, I'll put in the soft skills, and you can add more and more as you go. Whatever the talent communities are, you can just add more. And so what happens when you do that? A lot of things happens. I mean, it's really baked within the heart of the recruitment. So first of all, you can see now, whenever you see that candidate, we show you that little tag. That means they have talent communities attached to them, and we show them here. There's a column about talent communities. And you clearly, when you go and you want to do search, when you're, trying to find suitable people from within your database, as opposed to relying only on advertising, you want to be able to search on talent community. So in the filters here, the first filter that we have is the talent community. So that's all your talent communities. It's auto completion anyway. But let's say if I do that, then hopefully that person is going to come up. And then if I go back to the filters, by default, it's an or. So if you want to say, I want to have both, clearly that candidate not going to come up now because he didn't have the bilingual. If I remove that, probably they would come up now. Yep, here they are because they have the soft skills. If you remember, we tagged them with that. So there's a great deal of stuff. And then when you're building that filter, so I want someone, let's say, what's powerful about our talent community, it's super dynamic, meaning you don't have to say, I want the, let's find a better skill than the soft skills, something a bit more. So I've got, for example, I'm pretty sure Java or something like that. What do I have? This is very limited what we've got in here. Management experience. Okay, cool. So let's say I'm looking for someone with management experience, and you don't have to say, find me those people with management experience and also in Melbourne. You don't have to do 2 tags or make your talent community that says Melbourne-based management experience, Sydney-based management experience. That's terrible. From day one, we didn't want to do that. So you do it on the fly. You just have to say management experience. And then in here, you can search on the geolocation. Sorry, in there. So you can say then, show me the guys that are in Sydney and within 20 kilometers or 50 kilometers or whatever it is. And then that's it. So that's what I mean by dynamic. So this is now, I want people with this talent community, but within Sydney, within 20 kilometers. And then you can save that search because you might even want to ask more questions, even compliance questions. They have a driving license, etc. Anybody that, answered that during the recruitment process. You can, whatever the filter is, and then you can save it. So save the search. You call it here, management in Sydney, and save it. And then in the future, if I go back here, you can just reproduce it super quickly from here. Saved searches and management Sydney, and it's going to reproduce those tags for us, those bubbles I call them, and then bang, here they are. So really, that's what I meant by we invested so much in talent community. It's not just a little tag, which what a lot of people seem to do, and they claim they have talent community. It's really thousands of features that were needed to make it work as an ecosystem.
I think that was it as far as questions go.
Okay. Anything else, guys, about anything else whatsoever? Support. Can I get some feedback? as you know, guys, we might have had a bit of a bump, unfortunately, with support, particularly during COVID. It was super tough to find IT skilled people and keep them. And we did have some sort of up and down. We would go through maybe a period of a few months where the support is really running behind and maybe not so great. I'm just going to be nice about it, saying that. And then we would go through really good 3 months and stuff. But I believe it's been fundamentally different now for months and months, maybe more than 6 months. Can I get any feedback? Can anybody give me feedback if you feel there's still room to improve with support? And maybe we can take it up with you. The account managers can speak with you separately and make sure we turn the situation around for you.
We just had a question come through from Anne. Can you do reference checks on the platform too?
Yes, 100%. So reference check is also native. And as I mentioned before, it's a whole ecosystem. So you can see we've got a separate dashboard here for the checks, and that's the reference check there. So that, for example, showing me all the reference checks. It's a dashboard just like what we said before with all your packs, where they're at, whether they're still in draft or sent or whatever. And then you can go into the individual to see who the referees are and where they're at. And it's super customizable. I'll just try and find something, a real one. Don't have a lot of data in here, sorry, but it's very, very, very customizable in terms of the questionnaire, in particular the questionnaires that you want to have for your for the referees. So you can build 2 or 3 questionnaires, multiple. Each may be more specific for certain roles, but you can reuse. So, for example, 80% of that form is going to be the same across all the different questionnaires, and only 2 or 3 questions specific for those roles. You can do that. You can reuse those 80%, and only those 2 questions will be different. I mean, really, it's a whole module. It's not just a little feature. It's a whole module. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
We would love to show you that whenever you're interested in. But it's a yes and a yes and a yes, the answer.
And some good feedback saying support has gotten better from Amanda and Darren as well.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear. But seriously, guys, I really want to hear it from you. You're welcome to call me directly on my mobile or to call the account managers. If anybody's having issues with support, I want to know about it, and ASAP, please, guys. And I apologize in advance.
And Belle, thank you for this. So Belle says, hey, Anwar, here's my feedback regarding support. Support has been great. We are at the pre-implementation stages and had great support through the processes. Big thanks to Ryan and Lewis.
Can I just take a minute to cry and come back? I don't want to cry on the screen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Very good.
We had another one from Emily. I have one outstanding IT issue. It has to do with an address. The team seems to be all over it and trying to work it out, though. Overall, I find Martian to be very responsive and quick acting on any issues, questions, and providing assistance.
Wow. You're going to make me cry, guys. It's an honor. Thank you so much, guys.
Good.
Anything else, guys? At least let's go to 12:30, 6 minutes to go. Any questions about anything to do with the platform? And if you want someone to talk to you, do you want me to put you in touch with Janine, our sales manager, perhaps to set up a demo for you? She might have left the room.
I think so, yeah.
All right, no worries. All good.
So one from Megan. I wasn't able to join from the start. Am I able to get this training sent to me?
We do record them, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay, Eddie, do we send it to everybody that attended?
You get
Or
an automatic notification.
okay, beautiful. So yes, you will. If you don't receive it, say by tomorrow, please get in touch with the account manager, support, myself, anybody.
There's a YouTube link as well with all of them.
Okay, do you mind explaining that, Eddie? Do you have a microphone now or not? Oh, okay. So there's a YouTube channel. Can I?
I'll cut and paste the link in the description.
Okay, Eddie's going to paste the link for the YouTube channel, and we upload this into it anyway, just in case you don't get the notification by tomorrow. Yeah, overnight we do it.
Mhm.
By tomorrow, go to that YouTube channel and you'll see the new training has just is popped up at the top. So we put all the trainings there. These webinars trainings.
She says, perfect. Sounds good.
And just said that would be great. But I just have to discuss with this with my director first, and then she'll get in contact.
Of course. Thank you. No worries. And when you're ready. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Cool. That link's just been sent now. Taufik says, I have been requested by my manager to set up the award salaries under agreements. Is it possible to connect me with someone from to help me with this task?
Oh yeah. That's my favorite. Sorry, who's this?
Taufik.
From CHL.
From where?
CHL.
CHL. I'm so sorry. I'm not familiar with this account. Nevertheless, 100%. So whose account is that, guys?
That's mine.
Jesse's going to connect you with Lewis or Ben.
Yep.
Jesse and I will talk now about who's probably right now has got more time and stuff. And we will give you someone that will train you, will help you with everything. It's the reason I said it's my favorite, because it's something that we're offering for free. And it really is life-changing. Every time a client takes it up, they go, oh my God. And so it's, I just would love to see every client using it. It's at the moment, we're sitting probably at 75% of our clients using it. And we still have about 20%, 25% who haven't taken it up, and we're working with them. So that's fantastic.
GLC asked me to, I'm assuming that's in regards to the agreements as well. So absolutely, from Marcellin.
That's the agreements page, by the way, guys. That's something that the user in this account, in my case here, I would have set up an award called Hospital Awards, etc. And I've set up these what we call job families, and every job family will have multiple levels. And so that's what you will end up with.
Oh, sorry, it's Naveen. Sorry, it's just on our end. It comes up as Taufik. We apologize.
His first name's Naveen.
Okay, Naveen, sorry.
Yeah.
Naveen, does that make sense? You're happy?
Yeah. Okay. Bell says, not sure if you can answer with time. Do you have any issues with scenarios where staff members are attached to multiple positions in regards to the org chart?
Oh, absolutely not. I'll show you straight away. So if we've got here Ellen Evans, we are going to create another position here. Maybe we can improvise between us, guys. She's the restaurant manager. We're going to give her another duty to report to the CEO as a people experience manager. Okay. So I'm going to create another position here. With this menu that when I select the node, this menu pops up in here, creates a new node, and the new position is people experience manager. People experience manager. It's not there, so I'll just create it. You can see that option there. Okay, done. So I've got the vacant position here called people experience manager, and so what was the name of the lady? Ellen. I'm going to link Ellen into it as well. So what I'll do as clearly, if this is a new thing happening, it will go through the process of approval and all that. But if I'm an admin person and I'm just setting this up now, it's a new system. I'm bringing everybody in. I can just do it like that. So what we call link that person into it. So I can find, sorry, what was her name? Ellen?
Yeah.
Ellen Evans, yeah. And so now Ellen is doing two roles. It's the same record. So whether I go through here into Ellen's as her employee record, that's the employee record. This is the same employee record, same person. It's just she's now serving on to do two different positions, and she can be off-boarded from each position separately. You can do change of conditions against each position separately. So when I'm doing here change of condition, for example, I'm not doing change of condition against Ellen. I'm doing change of condition against Ellen in the position of people experience manager. So whatever I'm adjusting pay and working pattern or whatever, it's only pertaining to that link, what we call the twin link, the two things, which is Ellen and the position. And the same thing in here. If I'm doing offboarding or change of condition, it's pertaining to Ellen as a restaurant manager. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I think we are at the 12:30 point, so that's perfect.
Beautiful. Guys, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this. I was a bit rusty at the beginning. Thank you for your patience with me. I haven't done this for about 6 months, probably. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So appreciate your time. Without the questions, as you know, this could have been a pretty dull and session. So your questions made it as successful as it is. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining.
See you next time.
See you
Cheers.
next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.